100 degrees, triple digits for what, 4 days?
From St. Louis to South Florida.
Nothing you really do.
Yeah, Alicia, it's pretty wild. While we're in the midst of this storm right now, just about 20 minutes ago here in Los Angeles, we felt an earthquake. According to the U.S.
Earthquakes and uproars, the visitation here. Salvation getting close, we could taste it in the air. We gon' do the Lord's, we ain't got no fear. The end time here, it done got more clear. Messiah in the heaven, really opening the seal. The sweaty in his hand, really following the wheel. They talk about hot, but that sun too real. The judge on the throne by the show might feel. Them crystals can't shake, them idols can't shake, that money can't shake, that church can't shake. The holy one that's able, the only one could save. He's sending out them prophets, will you hearken to the way? Or would you stand with pride, would you mock him to his face? When it all fall down, just remember that day. Pestilence and wars, these nations being used, really turning on the whore. Murdering my people while I'm opening the door. Babylon had them drunk, but not no more. We at the end of time, open up your eyes. Euphrates River dry, it's time to pick a side. He pouring out vows, Revelation 16:9 right now. Messiah on his way, we gon' bow right down. Ain't nowhere to run when them trumpets sound. We gon' follow Christ, I can't dump my crown. I can't dump my crown. I can't dump my crown. Let the horns blow. Yeah, cause these days they have a form of godliness, but they deny the power. Uncircumcised still got the heart of those who built the tower. Their tongues are restless evil, they coming to devour. I will protect your people, we need you in this hour. It's evident from the residents to the presidents. People can't speak the scripture lessons with a speech impediment. So not offend, call it choice, don't call it sin. Men and women without natural affections will not repent, won't move an inch. Love is a pleasure, that dopamine is they heaven. True meaning of a dope fiend, soul filled up with loving. The world is black and white, it's all sixes and sevens. Goats and sheep, repent or repeat. And the Lamb is able to redeem the pimp and the thief. In the New Jerusalem, I throw my crown at his feet. Hallelujah.
What's up? What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing this morning? How's everybody doing this morning? Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shalom, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? This is the day that the Most High have made, so let us be glad and rejoice in it. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. Good morning, Breaking Strongholds Ministries. Good morning, YouTube. And good morning, Facebook Live. How's everybody doing this morning? I hope the Most High have really truly blessed you over and abundantly with love, kindness, and joy. I hope the Most High have really truly blessed you over and abundantly with wisdom and knowledge and understanding of your word, of his word. I really truly hope he has blessed you over and abundantly. I really truly hope he has. I hope your week has been a great week. I hope he's truly blessed you. I really do. As for my week, my week has been a week of fighting, internal fighting. Because I don't know what, it's like you gotta put a fork in it. That's what I'll name the title. You gotta put a fork in it. And that's what I will name it today. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna put on it today. Yeah, I've been battling this week because you know, last week I want to see if I want to be a supervisor where I work at. And I really enjoy being that. I really enjoy trying to train and see if I want to be a supervisor in it. You know, seeing if I wanted to do it, see if I could be able to deal with the elements and deal with the people in the job in detail. And I could do it with no problems. I enjoy doing it. I have done it in previous times. But I had to come to understand, why was I doing it? I had to look at the whole situation. I had to look at the situation as a whole and see if that was my true purpose. And you know, I still haven't threw away of being a supervisor, but it was, do I want to be a supervisor over one group of people, or do I want to train and educate people in another situation? And I was just wrestling with that all week, and some other information that I've been wrestling with due to the company that I work for. Whether they're going to be sold, whether they're going to not be sold, whether they're going to have a mass layoff, or whether they're not going to have a mass layoff. And I was trying to put all that into perspective and making my decision, but I was actually wrestling within myself to see what type of decision I wanted to make. And a lot of the times when you're wrestling within yourself about what you want to do, your spirit is very unsettling. Your spirit is very unsettling. Like I was telling my wife, you know, I was telling her, I said, something's going on with me. I said, I'm uneasy today. I'm uneasy this week. And didn't I tell you that?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's because I was wrestling with someone on the inside. And when you're wrestling with someone on the inside, it makes you very uncomfortable. It makes you really not know what to do or how to do it, because you're not stable in your decision-making process. And because you're not stable in your decision-making process, your spirit is not stable. You are, as a person, is not stable. Um, 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 you're not, I'm trying to find something, but you're not stable. You're not stable, and you're not stable, and because you're not stable, it just keeps you all over the place. And that's where I was last week. And it was because of my situation at the place where I work at. And because when you're not stable, people look at you as a person that may not be able to make decisive decisions or decisions about situations. And it's not that you're not capable of making decisions, but it's that you haven't reached a point on what decisions you want to make. So it says in James chapter 1 verse 8, it says, a double-minded mind is unstable in all his ways. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And that's where I was last week. And I want us to have that as a, keep that in the back of your mind today, okay? So that was my week, you know, and the Most High is dealing with me today with you all on that. So let us go to Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. And it reads, and Ananias spake all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah thy Ananias, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, and thou shalt have no other Els before me, or Ananias before me. I say Els before me, and thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah, that Ananias, am a jealous Ananias, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah thy Ananias in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath. The seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah thy Ananias. In it thou shalt not do any works, thou nor thy sons, nor thy daughter, thy manservants, nor thy maidservants, nor thy cattle, nor thy strangers that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore, if Yahuwah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy day be long upon the land which Yahuwah thy Ananias giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbors, and thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Okay? So let us give a prayer this morning. Let us give prayer. It says, O creators of the heavens and earth, of all radiance and vibrations, soften the grounds of our beings and carve out a space with us where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity so that we may be empowered to bear fruits of our missions. Let each of our actions bear fruits in accordance with our desires, within your purpose for our life. Bestow us with the wisdom of produce, and share what each being needs to grow and flourish. Untie the tangled thread of destiny that binds us, as we release others from the entanglement of the past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced by that which distracts us from our true purpose, but illuminate the opportunities of present moments. For you are the ground and the fruitful vision, the creator, the power and fulfillment, as all is gathered and made whole once again. So let it be. Good morning again to each and every one of you. Good morning to those who are listening on Facebook, those who will listen to me on YouTube. If you are on Facebook and you have not went to YouTube and subscribed to me, I would ask you to do that for me, because my subscription numbers is like 77. And it's been like that for a long time. So I would just ask you all to go subscribe to me. But if not, I understand. If you're on YouTube, I would ask you to like my channel. If you're listening on a consistent basis. But if not, it's okay. It's all well. It's good. But if you could turn to Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6. This is a very familiar passage to a lot of you all. familiar passage. What's in this, Sharon? Speak loud. Speak loud, please.
There's hibiscus.
Hibiscus, lemons, honey, what else?
Ginger.
And ginger.
And I don't know what other one you had in there.
Did you put sea moss in here?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh man, that tastes horrible. That tastes horrible. Horrible. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. My stomach finna hurt. Nah, thank you for making that tea for me this morning, Sharon. I really appreciate it. I am very grateful. Matthew chapter 6 verses 19 through 24. And the key verse today, the key verse is verse 24. The key verse is verse 24. It says, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Anani and Mammon, or you cannot serve Anani and money. Okay, if I may give a title of the text this morning, the title of the text is Time is Up. You gotta put a fork in it. Okay, time is up. You gotta put a fork in it. Okay? The two words today is decision and servant. Serve. Decision is a mid-15th century word. Okay? It means act of deciding. It's a settlement. Remember what I said what I was going through this week. My spirit was unsettled. It says a decision, act of deciding, a settlement, an agreement, determination as of a question or doubt. Means final decision or final judgment or opinions. And also in case which has been under deliberation or discussion. See, at some point in our life, we got to make a decision on what we're going to do in life. And we got to do it with our whole mind and body and soul. We can't be like James 1:8. Be a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. We can't be double-minded. We can't be lukewarm. We got to either be hot or cold in our decision-making process. And that's what I was dealing with last week. What decision am I really going to make? What decision am I really going to do? And whatever decision I decide to do, am I going to put my whole mind and body and spirit and soul into it? That is one of the most ultimate decisions we have to make. I mean, things we have to do is when we are making decisions, am I going to truly be committed to the decision that I have made? And if I'm not going to be truly committed to the decision that I have made, I might not need to make that decision. And see, that's what we have to think about in life right now at this point in time that we are in. Because we're going to have to make some decisions on whom we're going to serve. And that is the second word, serve. Serve. Serve is to render habitual obedience to. Listen to that. Serve means to render habitual obedience to. All allegiance to. Be a servant. Be in service. be enslaved, to work for, to bestow the labor of body and mind in the employment of another. So we got, whenever decision that we decide to do, we got to make sure that we're going to be willing to serve that purpose. Whole heart, mind, and soul and body. We got to be able to do that. That's something we got to think about. So, because it says in Revelations, in Revelations 3, in 16, it reads, and it's coming out of the Revised Standard Version, the RSV. It says, so then, because thou art lukewarm, and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. See, the Most High is telling us at some point in time in our life, we can't continue to straddle the fence. We're going to have to make a sound decision on what we're going to do in our life. And at the end of the day of this week, I made a decision. I kind of know what my purpose is. My purpose is to serve brothers and sisters who want to be a truck driver. I did it for 7 years. I've been doing it for 13 years, actually. Actually, 31 years. Or actually, 35 years. I've been in the transportation industry since I was 17 years old. And I taught people how to, I've been in safety for 13 years. Even when I was in the military, I was in safety. So at the end of the week, I understood that my purpose was to continue to serve people and helping them become truck drivers. But I had to make a decision. That is my physical, that'll probably be my physical occupation. But my spiritual occupation is to be able to come on every Sabbath and teach the word. So at some point in time, we got to make decisions on what we're going to do with our life. Okay? So now, like I said today, the title of the text is Time is Up. You gotta put a fork in it. Okay, let us go to Revelations for a second. Let us go to Revelations chapter 14. Revelations chapter 14. Revelation chapter 14. Revelation chapter 14, go down to verse. Let us just start at verse. Let us go down to verse 9. Because it's going to come a point in time. It's going to come a point in time where we're going to have to make some decisions on the process of receiving a mark in our hand and in our forehead. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Anani, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his in his anger, or into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstones in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever received the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints, and here are they that keep the commandments of Anani and the faith of Yahshua the Hamashiach of Jesus. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, write, blessed are the dead which died in Yahuwah from henceforth. Yea, said the Spirit, that they may rest from their labor, and their works do follow them. So at some point in time, at the point in time that we get ready to head to, is a moment of crisis, and is a moment of deliberation, a moment where we got to really sit down and contemplate, or to think about what we're going to do when we have to make these decisions on who we're going to serve. Because that decision of receiving the mark in your hand and in your forehead is about whether you're going to serve the creators of the heavens and earth, or are you going to serve God, Mammon, or Anani. Because it's going to cause you to say, either I'm going to eat some food, or am I going to starve to death and depend on Anani? That is the decisions that you're going to have to make because of what is actually going to be taking place on the earth. And we're going to have to make a decision because the conditions are going to be famine and pestilence and war and turmoil. And the government that's going to be on the scene, the Most High have already allowed these people to do this to us, because it's a moment of test. It's a moment of trying your spirit to see actually who you're going to give your soul to. And that is something that you're going to have to make a decision on, because the situation is going to be chaos. And the people who's going to be able to bring a remedy to your chaos is going to be the people who are against the Most High, which is called an adversary. So you're going to have to sit down and put everything into perspective and see what type of decisions you're going to make. And you're going to have to move from that point forward. Whether you're going to take that mark or whether you're going to serve the Most High. And see, when we go back, let us go back to Matthew chapter 6. See, this is Matthew's chapter. I understand, I'm going to say this. I understand why the Lord's Prayer is where it is in the Bible. I understand why it is in the position that it is in the Bible, because whenever they formulated the Bible, it wasn't done because of time. It wasn't done because of anything but chronological order, how they wanted you to be able to perceive the Bible. They orchestrated the Bible and they formulated the Bible in a very strategic manner so that it can have some type of sense to it, so that we could be able to understand it, even though they was guiding us in a way in which they wanted us to go, and it may not have been the way the Most High wanted us to go. But how they formulated the Bible was very strategic. So I understand why the Lord's Prayer, it is where it is, because it's at a specific place and it's in a specific location at that time, because it's talking about giving to the needy. The first part of Matthew 1 through 3 is talking about giving to the needy, and he said, don't let everybody know what you're doing for people who need something. Between Matthew chapter 6 verse 4, he said, don't let everybody know what you're doing when you give to the poor, because it's not everybody's business on what you do for people. Because the Most High said, what you do behind closed doors, I will reward you openly. And now I understand now, Sharon. I'll tell you about it later. He said, I reward you openly. Because a lot of times you don't need to tell people, I did this for you and I did that for you and I did that. No, if you do that, you're getting your reward. But if you do it behind closed doors and don't nobody know about it, the Most High will bless you in front of people, and people will be wondering, how in the world are you getting all this stuff? The reason why you're getting all this stuff is because what you're doing for people behind closed doors. So now when you look at Matthew chapter 5 verses, Matthew 5 verses to down 15, he's talking about why it was so important of the prayer. The prayer was not just for you, it was for other people as well. It was about you and what your situation is and what you should do for other people. Okay? So that's why the Lord's Prayer was there right in between giving to the poor and also about you. Then it was talking about fasting and all of that. Because a lot of times you don't have to tell people you're fasting. The Most High don't want you to tell people that you're fasting. When you hear people say, I'm going on a 40-day fast, I'm going on this fast, the Most High don't want you to, that's your reward. When you're telling people that you're fasting, that's your reward. That's what you're going to get out of it. That's the only thing you're going to get, is everybody acknowledging you that you're going on a fast. You're not going to get anything else from it, because you're supposed to be doing these things in secret and behind closed doors. That's why you shouldn't really pray. What I do online, I shouldn't pray in public, but I'm doing it now. But a lot of their personal prayers should be behind closed doors, in your quiet place where you're praying. That's where your prayer should be. So now I'm going to jump down to talking about be not anxious, and that is talking about what the desires that you want from the world. Matthew 25 down to 34 is talking about the cares of the world. Don't be anxious about anything of the world, because what the Most High is telling in that portion is a reassuring message that if He can do for other people, why He can't do for you. Understand that. If He can do for other people, why He can't do for you. And when we're dealing with 19 through 24 in the verses, it's talking about when it says, lay not up. I'm going to verse 19 now. It says, lay not up for yourself treasures upon the earth. This is a very, not hard one for me, but I understand that it's talking about the intentions in this text. Why you doing what you do. It's a difference. Because I want to say something to you. Because it can be misunderstood. It can be misunderstood. It says this right here in 1 Timothy 10 and 16. It says, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covets after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Listen to that. He said, for the love of money is the root of all evil, and which while some covets after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Then it goes back and say, then it says, you go to Proverbs 13 and 22, it says, a good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of a sinner is laid up for the just. Because a lot of times when we look at things, we look at the Bible, we can look at things how it can seem contradictory to each other. It can be contradictory, but it's not actually contradictory. But because what the Most High is saying to us is how we get the things that we get is more important than the things that we have. Understand that. How we get the things that we get is more important than the things that we have. Understand that. How we get it is more important than what we have. It's more important than the substance. Okay? And the reason why I say that, let us go to Proverbs 18 and 16. The reason why I say that because of Proverbs 18 and 16. Because it says in Proverbs 16 and 18, a man's gift maketh room for him, and bring him before great men. When he's talking about your gift, he's talking about your spiritual that is connected to your physical gifts. See, how you get whatever you desire to have is more important. And then how you get it, it will bring you in front of good or bad people. Understand that. So when we're looking at all of this and what it's talking about your motives and your intentions on why he's saying whatever he is saying. Your heart, where your heart is, where your mind is. Okay? Where your mind is in all of these things on why you do what you do. Even when it comes down to you getting ready to make this decision on whether you would take the mark of the beast or not. Why are you going to take the mark of the beast? Is it because you want to get the things that your physical body needs? Or is it that you just want to serve the Most High? And see, the Most High was putting on my spirit this week. He said, Orlando, most people only get jobs to buy material possessions, not to be able to do other things, not to serve me with it. He said they only get jobs and they only do things to be able to buy material possessions. So when it's time for you to either take that mark of the beast or not, you have to understand, why am I doing it? Because in verse 25 through 34 in Matthew chapter 6, the Most High is telling you, if I gave to the birds, if I gave to all these lilies of the field, and if I did all of these things, why can't I do it for you? But you just going to have to make sure that you choose who you're going to serve in all that whatever you decide to do. You got to understand, who are you serving in the moments and times that you're doing whatever you decide to do. Either you're serving Mammon or either you're serving Ananias. And see, a lot of people when they make decisions, it's either based off one or two things. Their purpose, their true, authentic purpose, or money. Because okay, in Ecclesiastes chapter 10, let me see something. In Ecclesiastes chapter 19, this is what it says. Coming out of, I just say the King James Version. Ecclesiastes 10 and 19. Let me see which one I want to use. Because this is what it says in Ecclesiastes 10 and 19. It says, a feast is made for laughter, and wine makes merry, but money answers all things. That's what it says. And see, it could be so confusing when we hear these things, but we have to understand the intent and the motives and all of this other stuff. What is your intentions? What's your motives? What's your heart? What is your mindset on? So when we get ready to make these decisions, or put the fork in the, we got to put a fork in it. It's very important why we're doing it. Okay? Because let us go back to Matthew chapter 6. verses 24, verses 19. And let's get started because I want to read you a little something else. It says, lay not up for yourself treasures upon the earth, where moth and rust do corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourself treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust do corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. When I looked up the word heaven, okay, the word heaven in an application sense, it means a mindset, means happiness, it means power. That means happiness. Okay. One thing that somebody can't take away from me is the joy of Yahuwah. So when we're getting this is the reason why verses 19 and 20 is so important, because we got to put everything into perspective, put everything in the right category. Because a lot of the times when people make decisions on buying things and getting things, they allow those material possessions to make them who they are as a person and as a people. Because I got a Bentley, I got it going on. Because I got this, I got it going on. Because I got that, I got it going on. Because whatever the material possession is, it makes them feel worthy. But if they don't have that material possession, it don't make them feel the same. And see, that's why the Most High is talking about, this is talking about a mindset more so than the tangible things. He said, lay not up for yourself treasures upon the earth. That's that's materialism. Lay not up for yourself treasures upon the earth, where moth and rust do corrupt, means to break down, and where thieves break through and steal. Because a lot of the times, see, a lot of the times when people have material possessions, a lot of great material possessions, people want to have the tendency to go steal it. Just like a guy told me this week, man, you got to be careful with your truck. I'll keep it in the garage because somebody may want to come steal it. And see, I like my truck, but I have my truck for a specific purpose. Not to showboat, not to utilize it or to beat over somebody's head because I have this. But I bought my truck for a specific purpose. And I'm going to utilize it in a time of need for a specific purpose. But I have to get it running to standards in order to be able to utilize it the way I want to utilize it. So when you're doing things, you got to make sure that you're doing it for a specific reason. Not to be able to throw it over somebody's head. That is for materialism. And it's not to be able to boast or brag about it. It's for a purpose. Okay? Then it says, but lay up for yourself treasures in happiness, where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. See, okay. I think this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to go to John 16 and 22. it says, John 16:22, it says, now ye therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again. Your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man taketh from you. See, we should, any physical possessions that we have, we should not care about it more than our spiritual happiness. Our spiritual happiness and our connection with the Most High is more important than these material possessions on the earth and pleasing the Most High. Pleasing the Most High and having a relationship with Him is more important than having the material possessions. But a lot of the time, the material possessions is more important than having a spiritual relationship with the Most High. And that's what we battle with. That's what we're fighting with in this world today, is because a lot of the times, he said, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We're wrestling against things that we think that we really can control, but in actuality, we cannot control. He says in Ephesians 6:12, it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's what we're actually wrestling with. That's what we're fighting with. That's why we make the decisions that we make sometimes, because we're fighting against a spiritual being that's much greater than we are. But that spiritual wickedness and that demonic spirit is making us lust through the flesh. It's making us want the physical desires of the world. And see, in Matthew chapter 6, verse 20, 19 and 20, it's talking about whether you want the physical, tangible things of the world or whether you want the spiritual things of the world. Because it say, lay not up for yourself treasures upon earth, where moth and rust do corrupt, or where thieves break through and steal. Those are physical and tangible things. When it says lay up not for yourselves, it says lay up for yourself treasures in heavens or the firmaments or in happiness. What actually truly makes you happy? What actually truly makes me happy is having a great relationship with my family and friends and loving on the Most High. See, it's a big difference. Because he's telling you all those things in verse 19 can be taken away. But the things that cannot be taken away is the treasures in happiness. It says, where neither moth nor rust do corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. See, we got to make a decision. We got to put a fork in it. What actually going to make us happy? And what's actually who we're going to serve? Is it going to be the spiritual or is it going to be the physical? Because in verse 25 through 34, he's reassuring you when you make a decision to trust in him, he will provide for you. But you got to be committed wholeheartedly through the situation, through the time, whether it be good nor bad. Whether it be ups or downs, you got to be committed in serving Yahuwah. And see, that's a lot of the times, that's what we fail to do during hard times. We'll go latch onto the physical realms of, well, I'm going to depend on my doctor. I ain't going to depend on the Most High. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But you first got to look at how committed you were to the Most High before you went through that situation. And if you wasn't committed to the Most High when you were going through that situation, what make you think you're going to go be committed to the Most High when you're in that situation? That's why the children of Israel wanted to go back to Egypt, because the simple fact is they was uncomfortable being in the wilderness. Let us go to Job chapter 31. Verse 24. Listen to this. I want you to understand the first word in Job 31 and 24. I'm going to read verse 23 first, because I want us to understand something. It says, "For the destruction from Anani was a terror to me, and by reason of its highness I could not endure. If I have made gold my hope, or have said to the fine gold, thou art my confidence, if I have rejoiced because my wealth was great, and because my hand has gotten much, if I have beheld the sun when it shine, or the moon walketh in brightness, my heart has been secretly enticed, or my mouth has kissed my hands. This also were iniquity to be punished by the judge. For I should have denied Anani that is above." What is he saying is, if I would have made all these physical things my confidence, I would have been rejecting Yahuwah. See, everything that you have is creations by Yahuwah. Everything. So why you putting your treasures, or why you putting your confidence in all the stuff that was created by Yahuwah? And why not put your trust in Yahuwah over the things that was created? Because it's going to come a time when you're going to have to make some decisions on whether you're going to serve man or whether you're going to serve money. You're going to have to make these decisions, and if you're not prepared for it, you're going to make a bad decision. Let us go back to Matthew chapter 6, verse 21. Because listen to this. This is very important, because it tells you who you are as a person when you do decide to make a decision. Because it tells you about yourself. It says, "For where your treasure is, there will your mind be also." If whatever decisions you make, whatever treasures you want to have, whether it's serving Yahuwah or keeping yourself on the earthly possessions, it's telling you what type of person you are as a person, as a people. If you love the tangible and physical things of this world, it's telling you you're earthly, you're physical, you're from the earth. But if it's telling you, if you make a decision based on the spirit and serving Yahuwah, it's telling you in the New King James Version, John John 17:16 through 18. John 17:16 through 18. It says, they are not of the world, just as I am not of the world. Sanctify them by your truth. Your word is truth. As you sent me into the world, I also have sent them into the world. When you make a decision to serve Yahuwah, you're understanding that you're not of this world. You're not of the world of the physical, intangible, and materialism that is going on. When you make a decision to serve Yahuwah, you understand that you're not going to celebrate the holidays. You're not going to participate in certain events. You're not going to do those things because you're not of this age. You're not of these traditions. You're not of what the world considers to be whatever it is. But as long as you are doing the things of the world, you are of the world. You're part of the world. Okay? So it tells you a lot about yourself. It tells you a whole lot about yourself when you do that. Whenever you decide to make a decision. Then it says, because it says in verse 22, the light of the body is the eyes. If therefore thy eyes be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. Listen to that. But if thy eyes be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? And see, let us go to Genesis for a second. Genesis 3 and 6. Because when I'm talking about intentions and motives and things of that nature, we have to understand every decision is based off intentions or motives or purpose. What is your intentions for the car? What is the purpose of the car? Why are you buying the car? That's why people do it. That's why you got to ask people, well, what's your intentions for it? Why are you buying it? What is the purpose for it? And when you understand that, you understand what type of person you are. What type of person you are physically and spiritually. You understand? Because a lot of times when people tell me, when I talk to people on the job that I work at, right? They say, Orlando, we know you just don't do stuff just to do it. We know you got a motive behind what you do. You just not finna do whatever you're doing just to do it. You have a motive or purpose behind it. Yes, I do. Because the revelations that Yahuwah has given me, I am preparing myself for his comings. And whatever decision I decide to make, it's going to be for me to save myself through his help. In Genesis chapter 3 verse 6, right? It says, and when the woman saw, she saw with her eyes, that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise. Listen to that. She took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. Eve had an appetite or a desire to have something from that tree of knowledge of good and evil. That's what enticed Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Even though she was forbidden to do it, she was so willing to. She wanted the knowledge of good and evil so much more than she wanted to be obedient to the Most High. Her decision to have the wisdom of knowledge of good and evil overshadowed the regular what Most High was trying to say to her. So whatever decision she made, it was about her wanting something for herself and not for Yahuwah. And see, that's what we do as people. I want this. I feel like I deserve this, and I feel like it's always an I in the midst of it. It's never about Yahuwah. It's about I. See, it says, when the woman saw that the tree was good for food and that it was pleasant to the eyes and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat and gave unto her husband. Her intentions and her motives on why she was getting the knowledge of good and evil was bad from the very beginning. He's not telling you that you can't have knowledge. He can't tell you you can't have the possessions. He's not telling you he don't want you to be prosperous. But he's telling you how you get what you have is the most important thing. See, it says in John 14, 13 through 17. Listen to this. John 14, 13 through 17, it reads, "And whatever ye ask in my name, that I will do, that my Father may be glorified in the Son." See, if you are righteous and if you ask for it, the Most High will give it to you. The reason why He will give it to you is because He's going to be glorified in the midst of Him giving you the things that you have. Okay, and then it says, "If you ask anything in my name, I will do it. If you love my Father, keep my commandments, and I will pray the Father, and He will give you another helper, that He may abide with you forever. The Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive. But because it neither see Him nor know Him, but you know Him, for He dwells with you and will be in you." See, if you're righteous and you're doing the commandments and you ask in the Father's name, He will give it to you because of your intentions, your motives, and your purpose. But if you have bad intentions and bad motives, He will not give it to you because it's not, you wasn't have the right heart. Okay? So Eve's motive was wrong. But everything that we do sometimes, it comes through our eyes. Our eyes entices us to do things that we should or should not do. Let us go back to Matthew. And I got to read you something. Matthew chapter 6, verses 23. Verses 23. Okay, verse 23 says, "But if the eyes be evil, the whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness?" Understand that. How great is that wickedness that is in you? How great is that wickedness in you? It says, "No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Anani and Mammon at the same time." So he's telling us we have to make a choice. We got to make a decision on what we're going to do at this moment in time. We got to make a choice and a decision. Because we got to quit playing, quote unquote, church. We got to quit playing with Ananias. We got to quit playing with him. Because the simple fact is, it's going to come some times where you're going to have to make some strong decisions. And your belief in him is going to dictate what decision you decide to make. Let us go to 1 Kings 18 and 21. See, a lot of us play church. A lot of us play with Ananias. And see, this teaching is not just to you, it's to me too. Because I got to dedicate more and more time to serving Yahuwah. In 1 Kings 18 and 21 it says, and Elijah came unto all the people and said, how long halt ye between two opinions? If Yahuwah be Ananias, follow him. If Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. See, that's the thing. I know I did right. See, that's the thing. We got to make a decision. It said the people didn't say nothing. We got to speak loudly and clear on who we going to serve. We cannot continue to play with Yahuwah. Not in this day and time. We cannot continue to play with him. Let us go to Galatians 1 and 10. Because we understand that the word of the Yahuwah comes through us. We don't have no power. Only Yahuwah has the power. It says, for do I now persuade men or Ananias? Or do I seek to please men? For if I yet please men, I should not be the servant of the Messiah, of the service of the Christ. My job is not to come here and make you happy. So I'm not going to here to try to make the physical world happy or my friends happy. I'm just going to do what Yahuwah tell me to do. And because you do what Yahuwah tell you to do, they're not going to like you. And I want you to understand that. They are not going to like you. You're going to have very few. You're going to have very few. You're only going to have a small network of friends, maybe one at the most. And see, that's something we have to accept. Because he said, if they hated me, trust, and I'm paraphrasing, that they will hate you. Those are things that we have to accept when we decide to make this decision. We got to make a decision because the simple fact is your life depends on it. Your life depends on your decision. Let me read it over. It says, for do I now persuade men or Ananias? Or do I seek to please men? For if I yet please men, I should not be the servant of Christ. He said, if I'm trying to make a man happy, I ain't going to never please Christ. I ain't going to never serve Christ. Because it ain't my job to make you happy. It's my job to teach the word and tell the truth, whether you like it or not. Matthew chapter 4 verse 10. Then I'm going to read you something. It says, then said Jesus unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship Yahuwah thy Adonai, and him only shalt thou serve. See, in the moment that you're going through temptations, when they come out to you and tell you got to take this mark of the beast or whatever it is, your words going to have to say, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship Yahuwah thy Adonai, and him only shalt thou serve. See, he made a decision in the moment of being tempted 40 days and 40 nights that he know who he gonna serve. In the moment of his most vulnerabilities, he understood that I need to just serve Yahuwah and love him and him only, from the masculine sense. Okay? So now let me go to the pseudepigrapher. Okay? Pseudepigrapher. And I'm going to go to the Apocalypse of Abraham. And I'm going to read in chapter 30. Because I want us to understand something. I'm talking about time is up. We got to stick a fork in it. We got to make a decision. Who we going to serve? Because, let me read you this. The AP News. AP News. 2 military horses that broke free and ran across London are in serious conditions. But the 2 horses that ran down the financial district in London was a black horse and a white horse that had blood on it. That's in Revelation chapter 6 verse 1 through 6, talking about the color of the horses. The white, the red, and the black. Okay? One incident happened on April the 25th on 2024. Where it was a white one with blood on it, and there was a black one that went through the financial districts on April the 25th, 2024. Okay, that was the 2 horses. But then you had one on July the 1st, 2024. Cavalry Chaos, moment 3, runaway military horses smashed into cab. Boats passed traffic lights and galloped down street in another London rampage. That was on the U.S. Sun's editions, and it came out on. It was published 5:13 Eastern Standard Time, July of 2024. Then it says, let me see if I can read you a little bit. It says, footage obtained by the Sun shows 2 of the 3 horses running along the middle of the road, with driver having to pull over. 6 horses are understood to have been conducting a routine exercise under the control of 5 soldiers, with the additional horse being led. But the lead horse is said to have become spooked by a London bus and became loose. The 2 other horses also managed to escape before traveling from Seville Street to Eaton Place, where one was recovered. The other 2 continued along a Vauxhall Bridge, where eventually stopped. One suffered minor injuries but required no further treatments, an army spokesman said. Understanding that was a symbolism of Revelation chapter 6, 1 through 6. Okay? So I'm going to read you something and then I have to stop because I'll be running out of time. Because I want you to understand that the seals are being broken. The seals are being broken. Okay? In Revelation chapter 6, the seals are being broken. And then it says, this is in Apocalypse chapter 30, in the pseudepigrapha, in Apocalypse of Abraham. It says, and while he was still speaking, I found myself on earth. And I said, Eternal Mighty One, am I no longer in the glory in which I was above? And all that my soul desired to understand in my mind, I do not understand. And he said to me, I will explain to you the things you desire in your mind. For you have sought to know the 10 plagues which I prepared against the heathens. And I will prepare them beforehand in the passing of the 12th hour on earth. Hear what I tell you. It will be this. The first, sorrow from much need. That's the first one. Sorrow for much need. The second, fiery configurations for the cities. The third, destruction by pestilence among the cattle. The fourth, famine of the world and of their generations. The fifth, among the rulers, destruction by earthquakes and swords. The sixth, increase of hail and snow. The seventh, wild beasts will be their graves. The eighth, pestilence and hunger will change their destruction. The ninth, execution by the sword and flight and distress. The 10th, thunder, voice, and destroying earthquakes. And then when I will sound the trumpet out of the air, and I will send my chosen one, having him one measure of all my powers, and he will summon my people, humiliated by the heathens, and I will burn with fire those who mock them, and rule over them in this age. And I will deliver those who have covered me with mockery over to the scorns of the coming age, because I have prepared them to be food for the fire of Hades, and to be ceaseless, soaring in the air of the underworld, of the uttermost depth, to the uttermost depth, the content of a wormy belly. For the makers will see in them justice, the maker who have chosen my desires and manifestly kept my commandments. They will rejoice merrymaking over the downfall of men who remained and followed after the idols and their murderers. Let me read that over. I want you to hear this part again. Because I have prepared them to be food for the fire of Hades, and to be seedless, soaring in the air of the underworld region, of the uttermost depth, to be the content of a wormy belly. For the makers will see in them justice. The makers who have chosen, listen to this, the makers who have chosen my desires and manifestly kept my commandments, they will rejoice with merrymaking over the downfall of men who remained and who followed after the idols and after their murders. For they shall purify in the bellies of the crafty worms of the worm of Azazel, and be burned by the fire of Azazel's tongue. For I wait so they might come to me. For I waited so they might come to me. For I waited so they might come to me. And they did not desire to. And they glorified an alien God. And they joined one to whom they have not been allotted. And they abandoned Yahuwah, who gave them strength. Therefore hear, O Abraham, and see. Behold, your seventh generation shall go with you, and they will go out into an alien land, and they will enslave them and oppress them as for 1 hour of my impious age. But the nations whom they shall serve, I am the judge. And Yahuwah said this too. Have you heard, Abraham, what I told you? What your tribe will encounter in the last days? Abraham, having heard, accepted the word of Yahuwah, or accepting the word of Anani in his mind. So, you're going to have to make some decisions. Who you're going to serve. Because the time is up. You're going to have to stick a fork in, okay? All them other verses that I gave you, some of the verses I didn't even put in the most. I was just speaking to me. But you got to make a decision. Who you going to serve. You got to put a fork in it. Time is up. Time is up. You got to decide. Okay? So, Father, as we come to you today, we thank you, we bless you, we praise you. Abba, we give you all the honor and the glory. Abba, we thank you for everything you have done and what you continue to do. Abba, we ask that you continue to prick our hearts so that we can turn from our wicked ways and seek your face day in and day out. Father, we understand that we have made some bad decisions, but we ask that you forgive us. We ask that you forgive us for the sins that we have committed, knowingly and unknowingly. We ask that you continue to help us and lead us and guide us and cover us, because we know that times are getting ready to come, Father, where there's going to be some pestilence and some famines and some wars upon the earth. And we're going to need your help and through all this chaos and commotion. Right now, Father, we know that we are, is quietness before the storm. Always before the storm is always a bit of quietness. So, Father, we ask that you help us to be able to get ourselves together for this moment that is getting ready to come upon the earth. We ask that you continue to lead and guide us and cover us. We ask that you continue to protect us and give us your wisdom and knowledge and understanding of your word. But all of us, let us see with your eyes, see the way you want us to see, hear the way you want us to hear, and speak the way you want us to speak, Abba. Father, we ask that you protect us as we travel the highways and byways of next week. And all these things we pray in your higher name. So let it be. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Woke you up in your captivity, haven't I? To send my son to free you mentally, haven't I? Showed you the gods of your enemies, haven't I? Gave you a heart that you remember me, haven't I? Help you understand your pain, haven't I? Then I give you back your name, haven't I? Showed you everything is vain, haven't I? Narrow pain, it's the way. His word don't come by void. An everlasting covenant he made we can't avoid. We still see that rainbow in the sky, cause this is story. The almighty power, but y'all give him glory. Babylon is falling right before you, haven't I? Hosea 1 and 10, y'all we royal, haven't I? The valley of the dry land came alive, haven't I? Hosea 6 and 2, we been provided, haven't I? He done sent his messengers to open up our eyes. He done sent Messiah, laid his life down and died. He telling all his prophets, y'all, he done heard our cry. He telling all his prophets, y'all, he done heard our cry. Send your mighty hand, you see the affliction, but get us out this land. We know you don't change, but do it all again. Lifting up this rod over no more than trust your plan. We gon' trust your plan. Haven't I woke you up in your captivity? Haven't I sent my son to free you mentally? Haven't I showed you the gods of your enemies? Haven't I gave you a heart that you remember me? Haven't I help you understand your pain? Haven't I did I give you back your name? Haven't I showed you everything is vain? Haven't I the narrow path is the way?